Hey guys, welcome back. Jim Boat. I am still on Lake Pleasant. This is kind of a continuation of last week's video. What I wanted to do on this video is I wanted to fill you in of what I found out about the power situation on the boat. Right out of the slot, I want to tell you that moving this boat on these 3 batteries is no problem at all. The motor works great, the batteries work great, there's lots of power, and there's lots of solar to keep those batteries up. If I wanted to cruise at 3 to 4 knots, I could probably cruise for 15 or 20 hours. That's not the plan, and that's not what I intended to do, but I just wanted to throw that out there. What I have found out is the power that I use within the boat. Refrigerator, the microwave, the laptop computer, Starlink, the chargers for the batteries, all of that stuff. That's the stuff that I'm going to need to figure out how to manage that power. I have 3 batteries in the boat. They are hooked into series. Only one of those batteries I use for all the power in the boat, and it goes to the inverter, which I have a 5 kilowatt inverter, and it supplies all the power inside of the boat. Let's talk about the energy that I'm using inside of the boat on the first day. When I got to the boat ramp yesterday, I got in about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The refrigerator was kind of warm. I didn't want to use up all my propane, and I'll talk about that a little later. So I let the refrigerator run on 110 volts or off of the battery power from my inverter. I let that run until about 8 o'clock at night. After I found my parking spot last night, I turned on my laptop computer, I turned on my Starlink, and I turned on my gaming monitor. The laptop computer is a Dell gaming computer. It probably runs 1,000 watts, plus the monitor that runs with it also. When I got done gaming at the end of the night about 8 o'clock, I went to check the battery state of the one battery that's providing the inverter, and I was at 48%. Wow, all right, so I panicked a little bit. I turned the refrigerator off and I put it onto propane, and I'll cover that a little bit longer, why I ran it on electricity in the first place. And then I shut down my laptop because I was done gaming for the night. And I just turned all the breakers off where there was no more draw on the inverter. When I went to bed at night, I was running a 12-volt system just so I could have a fan over my head, but nothing else was running. When I got up in the morning, it was still 48% charge. It started charging about 8 o'clock in the morning, and it was putting out about 2.5 amps. That was the breakers were turned off, the laptops were turned off, and the refrigerator were not using that power. There was basically nothing going on, and I was getting about 3 amps about 8 o'clock in the morning. I played around on the boat a little bit. I pulled the boat out and I went to another parking spot, which is where I am now. At about 11 or 12 o'clock, I was pulling about 14 amps of current going into the battery. At that time, I still had not turned on anything. I was just tooling around on the boat. I only went for about a half an hour, 45 minutes around the lake, and then I found this parking spot. Once I got situated, then I turned everything on. Starlink came up. My charging system came on, my laptop came on, my monitor, yada, yada, yada. All the stuff came on. The good part is I was still positive about 2 amps after all of that drawing, only on 3 solar panels. I was really happy. Here's the inverter. I really am happy with this inverter. I need to do a review on it. The green light flashing means it's receiving power from the solar. The yellow light on the left side means that it's using power from the battery. So it's charging. Let's check out how much power I'm getting. It's 2:43 in the afternoon. I'm getting about 4 amps of power, and you can see down here where it's 54% charge. I haven't had a chance to charge it up because I've been using it on that laptop. So using the laptop, I'm still getting 4-5 amps of power with the laptop on. Pretty cool. Well, that's really annoying, huh? That shadow. Hi. Maybe I'll learn how to do a screen capture. This is a little bit interesting. I don't know what it means. This is battery number 2. This is not hooked up to the inverter. The only power that should be drawing all this is the outboard motor, and it's switched off. But it still shows that there's 0.13 amps being drawn from that, and the battery's at 100%. I really don't know why there's any current coming out of that, because it would have to be going through the controller, and the motor's not moving, so I'm not sure where that current's going. Interesting, huh? Well, that really is annoying. All right.
battery number 101. This is the very bottom one. It also is hooked up only to the outboard motor, but there's no current being drawn from that. There was last night's spot that we slept in, and this is my view here. Have other campers over there. We're heading over to the marina over here to have breakfast or something. Don't know yet. That, my friends, is the only way to travel. Quiet, no pollution. God fills up the power. Gotta love that. A very successful docking and lunch and hanging out. Heading back out to the big ocean. Okay, maybe not a big ocean, but a very beautiful lake. We're gonna go find us a mooring spot for the night. Well, it's the end of the second day. I did go out cruising a little bit, went over to Dylan's restaurant, hung out there for a while. I did go up and get some tools, so some life jackets for the boat. I have some friends coming down possibly tomorrow or the next day, so I had to get some life jackets, so they had some. All I have to do is manage the power that I use inside of the boat. We'll talk more about that in future videos, but I've learned a lot about that power management. One of the things that I learned, check this out. So right here in my seat where my gaming computer is, a monitor, right here I've been charging everything up on one little home outlet. The opportunity with doing this, yes, I know it looks like a whatever, but the opportunity with doing this is I have to turn my inverter on. I have to turn the inverter on just to charge up my cell phone, which pulls about 4 or 5 amps just having the inverter on. I thought to myself, there must be a better way. I know that I can charge up my cell phone and some other appliances with 12 volts. I don't need 110 inverted, all that silly stuff. So, here on the dash, where I have no computers or anything like that, I put in my cigarette lighter, duh. So now I have my cigarette lighter charging my bank of powers down here and my cell phone and everything else that can handle that much amperage, and I can leave the inverter turned off, which leaves power in the battery where I want it. At the end of the second day, I went cruising for a while. I'm really happy. Motor's just purring right along. Solar's putting out lots of power, and the batteries are taking it all in. So everything is working really well. Went over to the restaurant today, hung out there a little bit, got to know some people over there. What kind of supplies I can get over there and stuff like that. Pretty nice little place. I'm gonna stay here for a few days, I think, as long as my sweet tea holds out. I think I'm gonna have a section in the YouTube channel or somewhere out there on the socials called Newbie Mistakes of a Boat Captain. Let me show you the thing that I just learned last night. I come into my little cove. I really like this cove. It's got a nice big cliff over here. There's my anchor, all sandy beach, really nice sandy beach. And then over here on the right side, it's another big cliff. So it's supposed to protect me from the wind. That's what I thought anyway. So when I pulled in last night, I just pulled right up on the beach, set my anchor, pulled it in tight. It was good, there's no wind at all, nothing going on. Aha, you know where I'm going with this, don't you? So about dark 30, the wind starts blowing and it pushes my boat up against the shore. Sound asleep and I hear my poor little boat go bang bang. Oh my goodness. So at dark 30, I put on my shoes, I go out and I put up these guide wires. There's probably a proper name, I have no idea what it is. Your boat captains will tell me. But I put one over here, hooked it up to a big old rock over here. The funny part about this is all sand shell or something. There are no rocks or anything. Every time I hooked it up to something, it just broke loose. And I got one over. So my poor little boat was banging up against the shore there. It wasn't bad because at the time it was just a couple of knots. So I went out there. I was climbing up here. I was climbing up here trying to find a rock or something to put it on. I had it on one rock over there. As soon as the wind hit it, just popped it off. So I had to go all the way up to that big rock up there. Fortunately, I have a 100-foot rope, which was an accident. I didn't know I had a 100-foot rope. It's been me a little while to get it unwrapped, but I got it all set up. Anyway, that was lesson number 14 that I learned on this shakedown cruise. I love it though. It's kind of fun being the captain, but it is the captain of the ship show. I think I am going to call it
a successful shakedown cruise, and I'm gonna load up the boat and head back. The main reason, I'm out of sweet tea. Okay, I'm kidding. Well, sort of. But it's going to be windy all week. That was one of the things that you learn through the School of Hard Knocks, is to check the weather. I know you boat captains have been there, done that. You've probably been, did you check the weather? It's Arizona. We don't have weather. For the next week, it's supposed to be about 5 to 15 miles an hour. And I don't have really a lot of provisions to stay out here that long. And I got a full page of things that I want to fix and upgrade and repair on here that until I was out here on the boat, I never even knew that I needed. But I've learned really a lot. And I'll cover more of that on different videos. I think I'm gonna head over to the restaurant, probably have one of their big burritos, and then load up and head home. The advantages of having a trailerable houseboat. I got my hat. All right, guys, I'm gonna close out this video. I'm gonna head out. I don't know what direction I'm going to go, if I'm gonna go marina or home, and resupply and get ready to come back out next week. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll talk to you on the next video.